It's September, it's my birthday month, and it's the Shirtwaist September 2025 challenge. So let's make a dress. Hi, I'm Erica, and if you're new here, welcome. This is my little space on YouTube where I show all the crafty monsters out there how to create a vintagey, gothy wardrobe and the beauty looks that go with it. I'm currently cooking a little pin curl set under this bandana, and I'll probably do a video on that brush out soon, so subscribe if you don't want to miss it. But as I said, it is September, my birthday's on the 7th, and it's also the Shirtwaist September 2025 challenge, which is hosted by Ashley Main Makes and Serena. If you are not following them, I will link to their Instagram and YouTube channels down below. They are fabulous. And basically the idea is to make a shirtwaist dress in the month of September, take pictures of it, be fabulous, and share it. So that's what we're gonna do. But I have a thought. So I'm gonna pop off my sweater really quick and show you. This is the Marlene blouse from Gertie's Patreon, which is a 1940s style blouse. I love the sleeves. I love this big collar, and it has pleats. I made mine a little short. I need to make it longer the next time I make it as a blouse, but it has these pleats to control your fullness. It's a really easy sew. It's got this beautiful yoke in the back. It's got this really cool detail to keep the sleeves nice and puffy. And I was thinking it could be really interesting to crop this and make it into the bodice for a shirt dress. So I think I am going to play around with changing the pattern to do that and make a test of that. And then we can do a fabric pull and figure out what we want to make. This is gonna also be my birthday dress, so I want it to be kind of fabulous. I also have a big piece of neon green in my hair, bright green in my hair right now. So I wanna make sure that whatever I pull looks good with that as well, since I might be keeping the green for a while. So anyway, that's the idea. I'm gonna show you guys how I alter the pattern, and I will also update you after I do the test fit in like some sheeting, like some regular bed sheet fabric, and we'll see how it's gonna look. I know that I'm gonna have to narrow the waist a little bit because this is a blouse. It's quite loose and oversized, and I wanna make sure that I get waist definition when this is a dress. So I will be back. Okay, I'm not sure how well you're gonna be able to see what I'm doing, but this is the Gertie Scout dress, which is a shirt dress with a bodice and a skirt separate. So I'm using that as a guide for how long to make the Marlene blouse. So I'm lining up the shoulders of the Scout and the Marlene, and then I'm making a mark where I think the waist is gonna be. So now I'm gonna trace the Marlene out to that waist area, and then I'm going to, this cuts off all the pleats pretty much. So I'm gonna see what I need to do to sort of still make this thin out a little bit and be a little bit more fitted. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace this out and be back. Okay, so I've got it traced out. Oop, I moved it too quickly. I need to make sure I have the pleat marks in there. All right, so this is where the pleats are. And obviously that's really small at the bottom. Like that's not really gonna do much. So I'm gonna make the pleats come up a little bit higher onto the bottom. go up like another inch, I guess. Is there any other important stuff this needs? Yeah, it needs the fold line drawn in. Hi, let's not forget that. That's the fold line. So that is the grown-on placket. Now, I know that this is a little big on the sides. So I am going to take in, let's see, untuck it again. Yeah, I mean, I think I could, with the pleats and everything, I can pinch. I mean, that's a lot. So I would say I can take out like maybe a 1/2 inch, maybe less. Maybe we'll be a little conservative. I'm going to leave the armhole intact, but I'm just going to take out a little tiny bit at the waist. Like, let's see if we want to remove a little bit more. So I've taken 1/4 inch off the side of the pattern at the waist. I'll do the same alterations on the back. And then when I come back, we will have a sewn up mock-up. Hello, so this is our test. I ended up taking a 1/2 inch off the side seams. And I think that was a good call. I feel like this is a really good fit. I didn't bother to put on the collar and the sleeves because I already know that they fit in this armhole and with this neckline. So really I was just checking the length, and I think the length is good. It's going to be a little bit higher where the seam is. This is my natural waist. So I think with the seam allowance, this is just about perfect. I like the pleats. This is a more stable fabric that I'm planning on using because this is just truly muslin. And I'm going to use a rayon challis that have a little bit more drape. But I think the fit is really nice. I love the like slight blousing in the back going into those little pleats. I love the little gathers in the shoulder. This was obviously not sewn perfectly because test. But yeah, I think I can go forward and make a Marlene dress. And then I wanted to show you guys the pattern for the skirt really quick. So this is the Gertie Boardwalk slim skirt. And what I ended up doing was just adding a button placket. So I just added 1.5 inches to the middle front, center front, to make a button placket that I could just like fold over, right, and finish that way. And then I added about 1.5 inches at the bottom to the side to make it more like an A-line skirt. And I think that is going to be really nice. Comes below the knee. I think it's going to be beautiful. So I am going to go brush out this wet set and then come back and we can decide what fabric to use for this because I don't know. So we are back. This is the fabric we are using. It is a rayon challis that has these little ditzy florals that are like a white daisy with like a tiny bit of green and a tiny bit of yellow, just really soft. I think it's gonna make a really pretty dress. And then I am just gonna get all of this cut out and be back with you when I have done that. Hi there. So I thought I would show you how I'm marking my little pleat marks and my gathering marks on this fabric. So I have chalk. This is a little Madame So chalk roller. I need to get more of the yellow one. And then I also have a white one. But I don't feel like they would be very clear because the accent colors on the fabric are white and yellow. And I don't really have another good option. So I decided to use tailor's tacks to mark my pattern. So what I do, for instance, right here, that's one of the pleats where the pleat stops. I'm going to stick my needle in and then just go through both layers. And I've got a double strand of thread. Incidentally, the thread is this, This is mercerized Coats and Clark 38 boil fast cotton. It was 29 cents. It's 50 weight. I believe that this is probably from the 1950s-ish. This thread was given to me when a friend of mine's great aunt passed, and they just gave me all her sewing stuff. So I do not consider it in good enough condition. Like, it's got some weird aspects to it. So I don't think it would be reliable to sew like a quilt with it, but it is perfect for things like a tailor's tack, where I'm just going through both layers of the fabric and then just trimming between so that I've got a little mark, little thread mark on both layers. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of that and finish cutting this out. But I thought it might be useful if you guys were trying to think of ways to mark your fabric and you didn't have a good pen that you trusted for it. Okay, so I have worked on the two fronts. So I have gotten the stay stitching around the neckline done. I have my 2 rows of gathering stitches for the shoulder. And then look at my pleats. I've got these lovely pleats. It's very bright in here. You can probably see them better from the back side. There are the pleats. And then I have serged the side seams of both fronts. So that is the fronts taken care of. Now I'm going to look at the directions. Okay, so I'm going to stay stitch the yoke. Actually, no. Do I need to? No, I'm not going to do that until the yoke is put together, since there's 2 yokes. So I'm just going to go and sew the pleats on the blouse back, and I'm also going to do the serging on the side seam. So let me get the blouse back. All right. So this has been, oh, and I have to do a little bit of gathering on this too. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. All right. So now the back is sewn to the yoke with the cute gathers. So now I get to do the burrito part, because this yoke also has to be sewed on there. So the way you do that is you take the whole shirt and roll it up small so that you have the seam allowance showing. And then you put the underside yoke, the yoke that's going to be against your body, and line that up with the seam allowance of what you've just sewn, and clip that in place. Now, I do not back tack when I sew the first yoke on, but when I sew through all 3 layers, both yokes, and the back of the blouse, I do a back tack at each end when I do that. So this is your securing real seam. And that is what I'm going to do right now. When you get to the place where it's kind of thick, just make sure nothing's bunchy under there. Yeah, you guys see? Let's see. All right. So this is the thrilling part, right? We've sewn both yokes. The back of the shirt should be sandwiched between them. And we just pull the shirt out from inside the yoke. And we should have, unless I have somehow done this wrong, which is possible. Yeah, okay. So now we've got the yoke. It sandwiches and finishes the front, and it's doubled and sandwiches and finishes the back. Pretty cool, huh? So, yeah, that is exciting. Now I just need to pull out my loose threads, because there's a couple. I'm gonna just iron this, and I think I will finish the rest of this tomorrow, but I just wanted to show you guys that part because it's always fun. All right, I'll see you later. All right, so we are doing some of the fun stuff here on the bodice. So I have sewn the yoke, both yokes, to the shoulder seams for the front. And then now I've got one of the yokes, the bottom one, the outside one, pinned to the back bodice. And I've got the back bodice gathered in the center where you're supposed to gather so that it fits properly. And I'm gonna do the burrito yoke thing, which if you've never done is a lot of fun. So I will sew my first yoke first. Hi everyone, so I am back. I have put the collar on, and then you just leave this back section open and you hand sew that down. And then I have folded the grown-on facing back and sewn it down to the neckline. You sew it to the notch. And then when you turn it the right way out, poke out that little corner, you end up with something that looks like that. So your facing is all turned in and finished and clean. Okay, we are back. This is my last check-in of the night. I was actually able to sew the sleeves in, the side seam, the collar is in. I just have to do the hand finishing work on the other side of the collar. I also sewed the skirt together with the placket so that tomorrow I can attach the top of the dress to the bottom of the dress, do some hand finishing, and also put in about 7,000 buttons. But at least the skirt can hang overnight, so hopefully I can hem it tomorrow. And then I did use the little sleeve support, which is this little gathered ruffle bit that goes inside the sleeve and allows you, without a shoulder pad, to get that delightful 1940s inspired fit. So that's how you get that strong shoulder. I think this is gonna be a dress I really love. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hello everyone, it is day 2. The dress is very close to being done, and I realized I wanted a little bit more detail. So I've cut out a matching belt. I'm just gonna test it and make sure that it is an adequate size. And it is. So I am going to sew the belt, sew the bodice to the skirt, put on about 1,000,000 buttonholes, sew on 1,000,000 buttons, do the hand sew finish on the inside of the collar, and hopefully the next time I see you guys, I will have a finished dress reveal. So I'll be back when that is done. Hi everyone, here is our finished dress. So I did small black buttons going down the entire front. I left a little bit of a slit at the bottom and the skirt. I hope that's okay. I might put a couple extra buttons there. I have my little belt, which is nice. It's very authentically 40s. I do like that. But I think that when I wear this, I'll probably do a different, more modern kind of punk belt with it, because that's just kind of how I roll. I love the sleeves. Get the sleeves over my head. Always good. That's what I look for in a sleeve. All around, I think the Marlene made a pretty decent bodice for a dress. I did go in and take in another like 1/2 inch on either side seam. And I feel like here's where my waist is, but it's kind of lower in the front. So I feel like I could have made the bodice a little bit more straight when I did it and made it like a 1/2 inch shorter. But that is my finished dress. Thank you guys so much for being here on my journey to make my shirt dress September 2025 dress and also my birthday dress. I hope you had a good time and I hope to see you next time. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Bye.